Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome to the New Year's Year in Review. Can't believe we made it this far episode of the Rise Up Morning Show. Today is Wednesday, December 31st, and what a year it has been. From Bitcoin's all-time high to presidential meme coins, everything in between, it's been a doozy. And I can't believe we got to cover all of it here on the show together. So thank you guys for being here and doing this with me. And now we get to do it one more time before we start saying 2026. How you feel about it?
I feel like it is just another day, and I think New Year's resolutions are dumb. I think everyone should set quarterly resolutions instead. It is too easy to give up on something that has such a long runway. Make the runway shorter, increase the time pressure crunch on yourself. Go with quarterly resolutions.
That was so corporate.
Go for it.
You tool.
It's so much better, though. There's a reason to keep the greasy
Do you
wheels
make
of
Violet sit
capitalism
down
flowing.
and do quarterly reviews?
No, but we do have monthly goals.
And I bet she does them herself. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't be such a good couple.
She does. Honestly, we never even talked about it. We're
That's
just like,
fair.
I'm going to do this month. And I was like, I'm going to do this month. You're like, meh, meh.
Can you imagine dating Will?
Hey there, normies.
Imagine dating Mr. Business, President Business.
Except it's like not a lot of business. It's just like me walking around farting a lot, like making weird noises.
Except for the times when it's like, hey, babe, where are you going? Oh, I'll be right back. I just have to fly to Tennessee and back again really quick.
Yeah, she was like, do you have to do this? And I just stared at her and she went, have a good day. So I just stared at her and she was like,
Ta-ta.
good day, sir. That's exactly what she did. She went, good day, sir. And then the door just closed.
I heard Will say backstage, it's hard. What did you say? It's hard for me to justify spending $100 on a book. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, it's hard for me to justify spending $100 on like a gold-leafed book. And meanwhile,
And I was like,
have,
huh?
I guess just like, I was like, it's just like a book. You know, it's like I can spend $8 to $15 typically on like my little books that get all beat up as I travel and stuff. But for first, I'll say on my flight back, I was immediately validated on my flight back from Nashville. For those of you who don't know, yesterday I flew from Boston to Nashville to then hang out in the airport for about 5 hours, then to hop on the next flight from Nashville to Boston for the sole purpose of getting enough points to get into Platinum Elite status on Delta. So I needed one more flight. So
Can you imagine waiting at an airport for your flight and then the person at the desk calls for the Platinum Elites and this douchebag like walks past you to go onto the plane first?
First of all, they don't call for Platinum Elites. They call for first class, and that's just typically me.
Oh my God.
You're a loser.
You can tell I'm usually in group 8.
Yeah, I'm
I like to board the
1
plane
3.
last.
I'm on first, and then I'm there. I've been imagining that we're all going to a conference, and we all somehow end up on Delta because it ends up somehow being the cheapest flight. Because otherwise, why would we all be on the same plane? And then, sorry, but and then I'm there, and we were all hanging out at the terminal, and I got on the plane first, and then there's like the perfect opportunity to make a silly video where I'm there already with my feet up, and I'm just like swirling my free Jack Daniels in a glass, and you guys walk up, and I'm just like,
Have you seen that video, Will?
which one? I feel like there've been a few.
There's one where this like brother and sister are flying home for the holidays or something,
Yes.
and the brother
Yes.
gets
I
upgraded,
have
and
it.
so he makes a whole big deal about like dressing in
like,
a
to the
suit for
nines.
the airport, and
Yeah, it's so good.
the video is incredible.
I want to recreate that.
I have to watch it.
It's so good. We'll send it to you, Evan.
One of the things I really wanted to share today was a look back at the year in review, but I have to tell you, though the content here is great, the production quality really is not. We're a fake radio show to the core, and I don't have a good way to share all the different sounds with you. But I will say, shout out to Tori, who gave us this great little Rise Up recap of iCloud photo shares, but it's mostly screenshots of like all of us doing unflattering facial expressions. For the people in podcast land, you're going to have to go to YouTube to see this. We've got Will with his eyes closed, and then we're going to have, somebody might have to give me the screen share assist on this. We've got Will not trusting Doug and Alex being a thinker about it. We've got me making kissy faces at the boys. Just a reminder, we've got the 300th episode. Can you believe that? This year, we crossed a lot of milestones.
That was 130 episodes ago.
130 episodes ago. Isn't that crazy? We really we launched 2 new
Tori
shows.
says I can't control your face.
We hired Tori.
Amen.
We brought on not 1 longtime sponsor, but 5. And we got all these beautiful cameras. We got these beautiful lights.
That's the hack right there.
The camera was the hack. Look at you can really tell.
To see the face of a guest who doesn't have a TikTok, the picture-in-picture of YouTube overlaid on the TikTok stream.
Is beautiful. Is janky.
Gorgeous.
Is great. The Frankenstein that is the morning show production.
Yeah, it's amazing. And we couldn't do any of it without all of you. I'm going to throw the screen share off right now, Alex. We've got a thread going on in the public forum where I will curate clips of some of your favorite parts, some of our favorite parts, and then you can go back, you can watch them. And, of course, all the episodes live forever on Spotify, on YouTube, organized in helpful little playlists. And one of my goals for the new year is that when we get this team of a couple of clippers that we have, like, really locked in, is for them to do a greatest hits official episode that you can go back. All the things that helped you learn or made you laugh, we want you to feel like you got access to those, and it might be a fun way to share with your friends and give them an entry point, or it might be a great way to get them to be a little bit more concerned about your health and well-being. You listen to this? So let us know what your favorite episodes are there, and let us know what moments were really memorable to you in the show, in crypto. Guys, what about you? Do you have a particular moment this year that really stood out to you?
For me, for sure. It was being extorted and having my TikTok get taken down for almost 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And
God, that was this
channel.
year.
I know, right?
Year.
The blue banana was this year.
And creating a channel where I was dressed in a dolphin costume every single day, sweating profusely from my armpits as I fought the green screen that kept trying to erase my dolphin costume, and then being introduced to thousands of people, because I grew that account to about 9,000 people, almost got to the point where it was monetized again. And people only knew me as the dude that talked about cryptocurrency dressed as a blue banana dolphin
Blue
thing.
banana.
And then I got my account back. So yeah, that's great.
I do remember the feeling of
what was the
elation.
handle? Dolphin.coin.guide? Suits and Satoshis.
Yeah.
I changed it to Suits and Satoshis because then I made a video where the dolphin retired and I just wore suits. And because it was Suits and Satoshis. But before that, it was Dolphins.
It was dolphin_coin_guide.
That was it. Dolphins_coin_guide.
Dolphins with an S?
No
Maybe
S.
just one. I don't remember. But
Singular dolphin.
But that name is gone now. I'm sure in the hands of a scammer.
The blue banana and the TikTok extortionist ring. That extortionist needs to come back. There's way too many content creators now, as David Crypto says.
Oh, he's back. He's back. He's still working.
Back. Yeah, he sent me a message, and I was just like, all right, buddy, I got people at TikTok now, so try your best. And then he left TikTok and then went to Instagram and then went to YouTube and then went to like Twitter and stuff and was trying to did the whole shebang.
Yeah, I never got taken down. I never once actually sent a communication back to that person, but I did get banned for about 3 or 4 hours on one of the days, and I had to appeal like 15 videos a day for about a month, just repeatedly getting mass reported. I don't know why I survived.
For the past year or so, and in large part that is due to its adoption being phenomenal. This is in its price chart, although its price chart is pretty aggressive up and to the right. This is its TVL, or total value locked, on the website DeFi Llama.
Yeah.
This measures the amount of money actually being brought and put on chain, and it was just about at $2 billion US, which is a very, very, very strong figure.
I don't hear it.
And if you see an altcoin like Sweet explode in value, don't say, ugh, I missed the boat, and stop looking at Sweet. Dive a little bit further. Take a look at Sweet.
Okay, all right. What about now? Do you hear it now?
I could hear it perfectly.
Do you hear it now?
No.
Amazing. Okay, wait.
Yeah, people are saying no, they don't hear it now. They heard it
Just
before.
bear with me. People in podcast land, bear with me. Do you hear it now?
Oh, okay.
No.
No, and I don't
You
think
said
TikTok
no.
could ever hear it.
Okay, but you hear it.
Its competitors to step in,
think
and that could be
Will
an
and I can
opportunity
hear it, but
for
no one
us
else
as
can.
investors.
If
The competitors
you
to
can
see
hear
this include Navi Protocol,
I bet they can hear it. Give me
Bluefin,
one more test.
Scallop,
Yes,
as
yes,
well
yes.
as
Amazing.
Momentum. And of those,
Amazing.
Now they say not now. So they could hear it before, and then they didn't hear it at the end.
No, they heard it at the end. They must have heard it
okay.
at the end. They must have heard
okay.
it at the end. I hear it, but it is very low. Yes. Yes, I hear what you say.
Oh, interesting. A lot of
Once
mixed.
again, the production of this fake radio show, the mastery of it eludes me. And I would be glad to show you some more clips from the show, but they will be very quiet. So you'll just have to wait for another time. Until we hire a real true producer, this will continue to be a great fake radio show. I didn't mean to derail you. I didn't realize you were going to be able to hear that. I'm very sorry.
Oh, I mean, like it ended up being great because then I saw how weak my mustache used to be.
Once upon a time, that mustache was a lot less impressive, but
It was
still,
it was a little baby mustache. And let this be a lesson to all of you that you just have to give your mustache time to grow. You know? Do its thing. Spread its wings and fly.
damn, beautifully spoken.
That's it, flying.
Okay, so give us your favorite moments. That's at community.rumshq.com. We would love to see it. And then we will put together a greatest hits year in review episode. In the meantime, Will, you don't believe in New Year's resolutions. Alex, are you a New Year's resolutions kind of guy?
Kind of, sorta. We have like the halfway. So we at the end of the year we review the year, and then we have like goals for the next year, but they're like looser. It's not like a super specific, like must accomplish this or whatever. It's just like things we would like to work on over the year, kind of a thing. And mine have shifted to pretty much be all work related in the past, 3-ish years or so. So that's pretty much all spoiler alert, it's just work on this.
Yeah, okay. I'm not much of a New Year's resolution guy, although there are a lot of things in life I want to accomplish, many of which have a longer time frame than 1 year, and I have never found that to be a problem in terms of not achieving them. But
I do sorry.
I could see the benefit of quarterly goals. Go ahead.
Yeah, I do have goals for the year, but like it's just like goals for this show, right? Like I just like have thought about stuff where I'll be like, well, where do I think this show could go? And then I'll talk about like my personal like quarterly goals as well. But it's like, okay, like I want Alex and Evan at the very least to be full time, have enough money coming in where Alex and Evan are freed up to just be making content in the Circle community, chatting with folks, working with production teams, working with other people to get hired onto the show to do certain things to expand, right? And also at the end of the year, have like, it'd be great if we were making, I always have measurable financial goals, $50,000 a month, ideally coming in from like sponsors or something, or just like other bits, right? Like that's coming in, that's awesome because then it's setting me up to also come in and start to come in full time. Like that starts to become like a magical number where it's like we really get to kind of do this full time. And like those are the simple goals I have for like by the end of the year, like where I want the Rise Up company, Rise Up Media Group to be. And then I have my own personal goals. Like by the end of this next quarter, I'll have my male modeling portfolio done. I'll be signed with probably Mad Talent Agency here in Boston, and just because I know them. And then also, what was it? Oh yeah, I have like very simple physical goals as well. Nothing particularly measurable, but I sit in this chair a lot, like throughout the entire day because I have this job, I have my sales job, and it's not a lot of standing, it's not a lot of moving. So it's just a simple life change where it's during lunchtime. My habit, I think, is bad, where it's like I'll grab my food at 12, I'll sit down, I'll watch YouTube, I'll eat, and then I go back and I'm working at like 1, and maybe I like make a TikTok video. Instead, it's going to be 12 o'clock hits, 11:30 hits. I go downstairs to my gym and I'm going to do some simple calisthenic workouts and run. And then I'm going to come back, eat my lunch, start work, make TikTok videos, do what I got to do, and then go to the gym and do an actual weightlifting workout at the end of the day, which is my typical workout, and do a simple form of cardio. Just to add something just in the middle of the day, just to break it up, something active, something physical. Nice. And, it's not necessarily a goal. It's just like a small habit lifestyle change. I feel like I need it.
Man, that's great. You can always get more movement in your life. I have one of the best Christmas presents I got was this. I have this big old kettlebell Kimberly got me. I've been trying to exercise with kettlebells more, and I just don't own any. And now I own some, and I don't have to go to the gym. I can literally just go right over here, which is great. My office gym is coming complete. Alex knows I've got stuff to hang from. Now I've got heavier stuff to lift, which is great. In the comments, we have a lot of really good New Year's resolutions rolling in. And I see a really good question that's worth answering today, too. Mama B Thing says, my goal is to have the chance to pay crypto capital gains tax. Wouldn't we all like that?
Love that.
Joey V says, my New Year's resolution is to lobby for the banks to use XRP. Good luck.
Godspeed.
Jane Polly says, mine's learn DeFi better so I can make my assets work for me and do better at dollar cost averaging into Sol. Love that too. Rapid fire question from Leaf. When's the calendar coming out?
Leif.
You're talking about, I always do that to you, Leif. I'm so sorry. Thank you, Alex. When's the calendar coming out? I thought at first they meant the calendar for the show, and I was going to say soon we'll have one for every month,
the will
every
calendar.
Week.
Yeah.
You mean the glory calendar to raise money for some animal shelter somewhere where we all do poses. Let me call Kimberly, and the next time we're all together, we will take photographs with varying degrees of.
Is my nightmare.
I know, and Alex is actually quite photogenic, which is
no, he's not. That's
no,
hell
you
on
really
earth.
are.
No, he's
my soon-to-be wife, who is a professional, who's been doing this for a long time, says you're quite photogenic. And do you think I'm going to disagree with her?
One of the greatest internal conflicts of my life is my respect that I have for Kim, but also my staunch disagreement with that single opinion that she holds.
Yeah. Okay,
Dude, also congrats to Sonoran. Sorry, I just want to say he quit smoking. He was 2 packs a day.
Oh,
quit smoking.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man, you can't believe how much money I'm saving.
That's amazing. I am really trying to be right there with you in the people who used to smoke club. If you can do it, that gives me a lot of hope. Way to go. We have a question that is about crypto taxes. How, this is specifically for you, Alex, how on December 31st, they ask, where do you exit out your crypto before midnight the 31st without paying all fees to exit? Do you hear all the different things we got to clear up in that question?
The only thing I heard to kind of clear up is hey, if you're trying to do some wash trading, where you're trying to, you sell a position that's underwater and then you buy it back immediately so you have your bag, right? You're trying to do that to offset some taxes, which is totally legal to do in the United States. There's no way to avoid fees. If you are doing things on a centralized exchange or even a DeFi platform, for that matter, on anything, there's always a fee. You can't escape the fee.
Yeah, can you say the question one more time?
The question one more time is, and this is from Blue Dive. Hi, okay. Blue Dive. Thank you. Where do you exit out your crypto before midnight the 31st without paying all fees to exit? I think what they're asking is, that Blue Dive assumes you need to sell everything and move it to a bank, all the way out. When they say exit, I think that's what they mean. I don't necessarily think they mean exit a position. I think the answer you're looking for is all you got to do is swap whatever crypto wherever it is for one other kind of crypto. For example, if my crypto's on Coinbase and it's Bitcoin and I'm up really big, I would go to Coinbase and swap the Bitcoin for ETH or USDC or whatever, and then swap it right back. That's it. You're done. That's your taxable event.
Yeah. If you are, depending on where you're completing this tax loss harvest, the fees are inevitable. It really depends. It depends, first of all, what you're swapping. You may not have all of the same options. If you're getting in and out of some altcoin, you might not have all the same options as you do if you're wash trading Ethereum or a Solana position. So I think the answer to the question is you can't escape the fees because there's always going to be a fee. Depends where. There's a huge, massive range of what a fee can cost. So it really depends. I think I saw the follow-up comment. do this on Uphold. I don't have any experience trading with Uphold, but if you are using any kind of like a centralized exchange or a platform like that to facilitate the swaps, then they're going to have platform fees, whatever they are. And there's no way around that unless you were to move to a different platform, would be your only other option. And then the other kind of compounding question here that I saw was, should you do this? Should you tax loss harvest? Here's pretty much all the information that you really need to, I think, make the decision, because I couldn't tell you if it's the right one for you or not. The pros are that if you have gains in something else and you have a loss in something else, you can use those two to offset each other. There is no limit. This is in the United States. Sorry, I don't know all the rules off the top of my head, but Blockchain Basecamp does for different countries. So I'll pitch that later. In the US, if you have a capital loss and a capital gain at the same time, you can use those to offset each other, and there's no limit. So if you lost $20,000 in one trade and you made $20,000 in the other, you do not owe any capital gains taxes on the $20,000 gain, because you have a $20,000 loss that you could write off. But you can only write that off if you realize that loss, meaning you sell the thing. So let's say that you bought Bitcoin in the beginning of the year, and now it's worth less than it was then now. If you sell that, even if you immediately rebuy it again, you have on paper realized that loss, and you can write it off on your taxes. The wash trading rule in the stock world, I believe, is like a 30-day limit on repurchasing a similar asset to the one that you just sold. In crypto, that doesn't exist. So you can sell something and rebuy it 5 minutes later. The thing to keep in mind is that when you do that, you reset your cost basis to the reacquired price. Meaning, if you bought Ethereum at 4,000, sold it at 3,000, immediately rebought it at 3,000, your cost of acquisition now, your cost basis, is now down to 3,000. So on one hand, you have realized the loss, but you've also lowered your cost basis, meaning that if it just goes back to 4,000, now you would be in a situation where you would owe capital gains on it if you sold it. Whereas if you just held it all the way through and it returned, you would just be at a break-even point. So that's something to consider. Just kind of to keep in mind, you can set yourself up for owing more taxes in the future. So you kind of have to be, I don't usually, honestly, really tax loss harvest very much, because nothing that I'm holding long-term, am I super worried about changing cost basis on that much, and I'm constantly swing trading like the Solana position anyway. So I have a tax obligation for that already. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of how I would think about it.
Blue Dive says, thanks for the info. Now it's clearer. What's got you chuckling, Will?
Bro, turn your heat on.
Seriously.
No, Evan just gets more and more layers as the winter gets deeper.
It was just like, bro, turn your heat on. Evan's either too hot, he has to take off all his clothes, or too cold.
Yeah.
He has to just like bundle everything up.
I live in a world of extremes here.
You got to save money where you can. And if that means you live in a lifestyle of extreme temperatures to save some money to buy more Bitcoin, God damn it, that's what you do. I no longer go to Equinox for my gym.
There you go.
That saves me $240 a month.
You are such a tool.
I quit.
I quit. Shout out to Mama B Thing for bringing up the final point that I forgot to make, which is that you also reset your timeline for short-term versus long-term capital gains. Commitment obligation. If you resell and then repurchase, that resets the timer back. So if you were like at 9 months or whatever, you're 3 months away from it qualifying for long term, and if you wash trade at the end of the year, you reset that back to 0. So then you're back on the hook for short term for 12 months from that repurchase. Great point.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of good follow-up questions too, but if you guys saw one, I'm glad to defer to you.
Take it.
Somebody did ask me, just because like it's interesting. It's like, hey, essentially it's the question of like, will a war in Venezuela, potentially if it happens, affect the markets? Undoubtedly it will, but less than you think, personally. So for those of you who are totally unaware, the United States has been building up a very large military presence in the Caribbean, and has been threatening military action against Venezuela. Now, if you're just like, what the hell is Trump doing here? In this instance, me as a registered Democrat, things have been escalating here with the United States and Venezuela for about the past 4 presidents. And largely because Venezuela is a very strong ally to Russia and China. The United States really, really, really does not like, cue the Monroe Doctrine, any
we do like
European
oil,
or foreign rival power in the Western Hemisphere. And Venezuela has a lot of oil. The United States has a lot of oil investments in and around the area as well, that Venezuela's national government took a number of years ago after the United States built up their oil infrastructure. This was a while ago, right? So there's all the context. There's a lot that's actually going on with Venezuela. If you're just like, what are we doing? There's actually like a lot. Dive into it. It's actually fascinating, particularly because they used to be a super huge ally of ours back in the day. So too was Russia. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So the question, would a war in Venezuela affect the markets? It will undoubtedly affect the price of oil. That, of course, because going in Venezuela right now, the price of oil's ticked up slightly with some escalation in Venezuela because we are basically being pirates and taking their oil tankers, which reduces supply in the market, and that affects the price, right? So the oil market will certainly be affected by a war in Venezuela, but like, it's not like Venezuela is a major economy, and it just depends on how things potentially would escalate. Russia and China have really been stepping away from their involvement with Venezuela, but if there's war, understand that they would treat it as like a proxy war, just like how we are with Ukraine, and they'd probably funnel supplies to Venezuela if and where they could. And there'd be a little bit of like tension and a little bit of uncertainty would pick up, and maybe there'd be a little blip in markets, but overall, it's not like a Russia-Ukraine conflict, because Ukraine was the breadbasket of Europe, and that greatly affects the inflation of food prices. And then also Russia is one of the largest oil producers as well. So it's like 2 very important economic countries in different areas, whereas Venezuela isn't really all that important. So it wouldn't be as much of a blip on an economic radar. And I know I'm like dehumanizing the thing here because we're talking about a war where probably, you know, thousands and thousands of people would die, right? So let's not lose that human element, but purely from an economic sense, probably wouldn't affect markets too much, honestly.
I also think we're just inundated with terrible shit.
Yeah.
You know,
Lots of comments about China, Taiwan, for example.
There's a lot of fatigue.
Yeah. That would
Darfur
devastate
continues.
markets. That would be World War III. You know, if China goes after Taiwan, that would be World War III. That's an entirely different level, even above Russia, Ukraine.
Let's pray. We have another couple
Opens
of good
up
questions.
the Silmarillion.
Oh, God.
Let us pray.
Let's pray. Silmarillion. Tolkien says,
Yeah. Okay, all
this
right.
tree and that tree.
Christina
and this
made
tree.
it one sentence in, and there's in the first sentence of the Silmarillion, there's like 4 high fantasy names, you know, the Valar, the Eldar, and Iluvatar, all in the first sentence. She's like, nope. Just close.
Dude, there's like genealogies in that book, you know, and Glondor was the son of Andoril, was the son, and I'm like, Jesus. You know.
There are, I mean, he invented in not just a language, but the roots of that language too. It's crazy.
Ugh, man.
Anyway,
Moving quickly away from crazy high language, I would love to know, and by me I mean Scrim. Hey Scrim, hope
up,
your
dude?
year is well. How big do you guys think all digital crypto payments will be? I imagine he's talking about stable coins, bank to bank, stuff like that. Once Clarity, the Market Structure Act, pass in 2026, assuming they do, once they do, how much money movement are we talking? Are we talking an increase here? And to start that, I need to at least get a baseline. Does anyone have the baseline for what we think he's talking about?
there's a lot of baselines in there. Which one are you talking about? The
I mean, digital
total stablecoin volume.
I mean, digital crypto payments, and then also how digital payments will change is what I'd like a number for.
Yeah, I don't know that number
that
off the top of my head.
I'm working on it.
I hear
Okay, Will's
Will
working on
clicking
it.
and clacking.
Then
Sorry.
maybe a good place to start while we wait for the fact check is, do we think it's going to pass, and do we think it's going to have a meaningful impact? What does that look like?
I have a very bad feeling that it's going to pass. The Frankenstein's monster version of the original. Well, so Clarity inspired by Fit 21. Then passed the House, is currently being torn apart in the Senate and rewritten, and terrible things added to it because Congress. If that passes, then yeah, I would fully expect the corporate side of the industry to flourish and to have permission to do all sorts of stuff. Genius. Well, okay, so clarity by itself, I don't think really is going to have as big of an impact as the realization of Genius. Genius moving from, recently passed and signed law into like enforced standard, which are two different things that it takes time to go from, all the stages of the bill in a tiny little baby nutshell, right? Someone proposes it, it goes to the House floor, it gets debated, blah, blah, blah. The House passes it, it goes to the Senate debates it, they rip it apart, they submit all their changes, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It goes back to the House, yada, yada, yada. It goes back to the Senate, to the president, signed, becomes law. But it then takes time from that point for enforcement to catch up and for all of the specific policies and the things that law sets the foundation for to be put into place, rules and regulations wise, to be written and to put into place, and for these departments in charge of enforcing these things to adopt them and to start. It's not like it goes into effect day one. So the thing that's going to impact the thing you're talking about, Scrim, is Genius coming to full fruition, not clarity. Clarity is really, honestly, again, I'm not going to lambast this point too much because I've done it a lot. Go, and I could do it on trust issues today. Go look at Clarity Act and read it, and then go look at all the people who are trying to tell you that it's going to be amazing. They haven't read it. Spoiler alert. I don't think it's going to affect the payments specifically, stablecoin payments specifically, or digital payment rails, tokenized payment rails, as much as Genius is. That's the thing that really gives all of these companies, these giant American corporations, permission to become new age neobank financial institutions, creating their own stablecoin, capturing the profits from that whole process, earning money from converting the responsibility of seniorage from the Fed to private companies. All of that kind of stuff is going to, it's going to blow it up. It's going to balloon all that stuff. I believe that very firmly, that it will increase the rate of all of that stuff. There will be more options. Any of those companies that can fulfill all of the legal obligations, the KYC stuff, the AML stuff, all of that, all of them are going to, why wouldn't you do a stable coin? Why wouldn't you buy all those backing assets and make all of the money from doing all that and issue the stable coin and make money also from doing that with people? There's really no reason not to if you can afford to do it. And there's a lot of giant companies that can, think Starbucks, think Amazon, think Walmart, think stuff like that, becoming financial institutions because of what Genius does. Clarity doesn't do any of that shit. So yes, the short answer is yes, but not because of Clarity, because of Genius.
Yeah. And if you want to hear more about Alex takes, as well as Emily, Lindsay, Katie Bettner, you should be tuning into Trust Issues. That's 2 p.m. Central or 2 p.m. Eastern?
2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern today.
Okay, Wednesdays. And it's like a, if you know, every other Wednesday or so show. Mm-hmm. And it's good. The episodes live on YouTube. How long have you made it all the way through Genius yet? I must confess
kinda.
I haven't listened.
Yeah, kinda. No, not really. But we covered it for a couple episodes, and then we started on Clarity market structure as it stands. That's a hard one to cover because it's currently being rewritten. But we know some of the pieces that are coming into it, so that's kind of where we are now. And then the last episode was all about seniorage. Like, what is it? That's the art of making money from making money. It's the profit margin on creating currency, because it costs less to make it than it is worth. So if the cost of production of $1 is whatever it is, 8 cents, and it's worth $1, then the profit margin is 92 cents, right? So and that's one of the ways that the government makes money. And so Genius kind of shifts the ability for that to happen to companies. So we talked about that last time. Yeah. So today I think it's going to be more about, I think just the way that we see it probably shaping up for next year, and where this different stuff is. And I would like to spend a little time talking about the things that I wish we would see proposed from the administration that purport to be in favor of crypto. Bullshit.
Well, they're in favor of crypto as a way for them to make money.
They're in favor of making money, and they think that crypto can be a way to do that. So in that sense, yes, that's it.
Correct, sir. Evan, I put some things in the private chat.
Yes.
For you for some stats. Just wanted you to be aware.
I see it here, and I'm specifically interested in this. Surveys show 49% of financial institutions are already using stablecoins for payments. 58% prioritize them. for cross-border payments. That's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
So surely there's room to grow, but that's already a pretty significant share of volume.
Yeah, Payments Consulting Network, a report found over 300 banks and payment providers onboard stablecoin rails, processing a significant share of stablecoin volume. So and that's just going to expand because, I mean, here's one thing. As humans, we always err on the negatives because it's a survival instinct. But there are good things to capitalism too. Everything has good and bad things. Everything does.
Sure.
One of the really good things is capitalism forces people to be competitive, which means banks and traditional financial companies will need to onboard stable coins in order to be competitive. Because even though they lose some control, they don't make as many fees and stuff, it's faster and cheaper. And if you're not faster and cheaper and better, you lose customers, right? So people are very incentivized to remain competitive and bring on stable coins.
Theoretically.
Yeah, theoretically, but it happens.
And I
the reality is
agree that it's better.
No, well, I would just say that
started.
That's one of those things that, yes, in theory, could be looked at as a good thing because on its face, competition sounds like a good thing. Although the way that people actually end up competing is to how low can we diminish quality while still trapping our customer base in the cycle of necessity with the product that we make them think they need to survive so that we can charge as much for it as humanly possible while they don't know enough and are too stuck to move out to a better option. Meanwhile, we make it as cheap and shitty as humanly possible because we hate them. That was a great video. I saw a video from one of the financial creators that I follow. She was talking about the underlying tone of malice behind corporate America and how it's so aggressively about making as much money as possible. And the only way that you can do that is to create this feeling of hatred of your customer base because you can't care about the way that they feel about your product. You can only care about whether they buy it or not. And it was the comparison between corporate profit drive versus small business profit drive while caring about your clients and customers and users and all that kind of stuff. And I've never thought about it that way, just like that just deep rooted vitriolic hatred of the people using your stuff.
Tori must have seen it too. She said how they are annoyed. They have to go through us to get our money.
That's the video.
And I just want to be clear that this is an arbitrary byproduct of an arbitrary system where money is not is the primary means to accumulate. The only reason it is this way is because at the top or at the root of this system is that somebody somewhere has the arbitrary ability to print money that is the means by which we all get food, water, shelter, experience the resources of life. That is the reason. The myth of scarcity perpetuated by a money system like that influences all those things.
And then one thing too is remember with public companies, their number one goal, as stated, is not to help the customer, even though that might be their mission statement. Their number one goal is to increase shareholder value.
Right.
Right. That is the number one
So
goal.
it's a natural outcome.
Yeah, and just like with everything, with capitalism, it's going to go in certain ways and you need to do certain... Here's one thing I've always found weird. If someone's just I'm this, and ism, and it's some economic policy, and it's I really believe it. I'm just okay, that's an interesting conversation. But libertarianism and capitalism and free markets and socialism and all these isms, if you just go hard in the paint on one of them, you're hosed. Your entire society is hosed. All these isms are just ideas that are supposed to give you a toolbox. You don't take a hammer to every problem to do every job in your house. Otherwise, you're going to have a whole bunch of holes in your house, right? That's the common saying.
Correct.
And all these isms are just tools in your toolbox that as you have certain problems, you take different tools to do certain things, right? Anyone who says, oh, that ism is evil or whatever, right? Except for racism and so, those things, right? Clearly. But we're talking economic policy. It's no. They're just different tools for different jobs that you should apply in different scenarios. One's not evil or the other. That's just the powers that be manipulating you to try to control you to vote in a certain way to consolidate their power and wealth.
Well, it's easier to hate a label than a vague concept that requires nuance and depth of understanding
and people don't have time because our attention spans are very short, which makes us more easy to be manipulated and that.
Yeah. Well, we're all pressed into a world where we have to be desperate and anxious all the time.
I think you're appealing to reason, to something that most people would agree is true, balance is good and extremism is bad. but to make a bad faith argument. I don't think it's possible to extend that argument to a system that forces people to dehumanize each other unless you believe that is okay.
I just think you're talking
like you
about
said about racism.
But you're talking about instances wherein you can appeal to reason with a group who's like interested in that appeal. You know, like if you're sitting there talking to people, most people would agree. I don't think I've ever had the conversation with anyone where they disagreed with the idea that like the powers that be create narratives and cycles wherein we get locked in this like hatred battle with a label that we're being pushed to scapegoat for whatever problem the powers that be are causing for everybody. But that still happens en masse because herd mentality operates one way, but individuals reasoning with each other operates in a totally different world. And because of the power of the latter, you have to opt into a world where the former is the, you know, the classic MO, because the other one is too dangerous.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I'd say is I'd say it all boils down to a very philosophical discussion around human nature. And I don't think there's like one right answer or no. Like, right, there's a selfish side to humanity and there's a selfless side to humanity. And just like with everything, the scale of society goes back and forth, and particularly based on certain things. And so like capitalism and socialism are often talked about in this case. You know, socialism, where it's like, hey, we're going to take this money, we're going to pool it, we're going to create a lot of resources. It sounds very selfless, but a lot of times the selfishness of humanity takes that, creates a larger government, creates more control, creates more bureaucracy, and can create more like fraud and like government controlling people and stuff. And then also capitalism, hey, free market, do what you want, you know, yada, yada, like smaller government, but more individual liberty and stuff. But oftentimes the selfishness of humanity can lead that away from the selfless purpose of it, just like when socialism, the selfless purpose of it, into selfishness. Capitalism can create a society where it's like profit, 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 screw the person, right? And it is our job as a society to understand when it goes too selfless to correct it and put in some guardrails. Maybe there's a revolution, you know, right? Oftentimes it's violent because humans are violent, but most times it's not. Some sort of regulation, some sort of new law, new leadership, right? Oftentimes it is that, it's just that the revolutions, you know, get the headlines. But it is our job as a society and as a people and as a community to recognize when it goes too far into selfishness and correct it. We saw that in the Gilded Age here in the United States. That was in the late 1800s to early 1900s. And it was largely Teddy Roosevelt that came in and broke that up because people were like, screw this, it's time to change it, right? It's our job as a community to communicate with one another and recognize when the selfish side of humanity is starting to get control and correct course.
I would say, too, just to drive the point home about objectivity here, if you listen to this and come away with it thinking that here's a bunch of dweebs lambasting the idea of capitalism, it works on the inverse as well. I think socialism is a great talking point to like also demonstrate the other side of this.
It just drives me nuts that you guys talk about capitalism and socialism as if they're the only two options. And
that's not what I said at all.
No, that's not what we're saying. It's just that those are the two that are talked about all the time, right? So good examples to choose.
I know, but I think they're not.
No, but listen, Evan, you have to recognize like what is realistically, with all of the nuance and context considered at the same time, the objectively best label to describe a specific thing versus the one that is colloquially enough.
I'm saying I don't think we're considering even a shred of the context in this conversation.
No, but that's not the point. That's not the point. The point is more to take the basket in which things get lumped under the label that they assume. How many times have you had the conversation with someone who on its face hates communism but doesn't really know what it is?
I mean, enough. I feel like I'm having that conversation right now. Not
You're
about
having that
communism
conversation right now,
but I feel like we are so minimizing this and reducing this conversation. I feel like we're doing this conversation a disservice.
Yeah,
I don't want to do it today because we have a lot of good questions and because I don't know, unless the audience really wants it. I think the listening audience is going to have a bad time with it.
That's fine. I think that you're right, but I think that when you have like,
because I think it requires a lot of anthropology, and I think it requires a lot. You know what I mean? Like I think the thing I will say before I say my piece on it, and I don't mean to blow up on you guys about it. I just get so frustrated that we live in a container that is so oppressively thorough that I think this conversation is good evidence that most people can't even conceive of like the history before short time, the Industrial Revolution. 5,000 years ago seems like a long time. Money seems like it has existed forever. But most of human history existed beyond and before these things. And people shared resources, and people cooperated, and incentives were aligned in such a way that to destroy even one human life was like, you know what I mean? Like, it was not a thing. And we have, for a very brief time, the last couple thousand years, gone so far in the other direction that people whose lives are only 70 years long, that's it, are thinking like, this is the way things are. And it's not, it pervades every part of our conversations. The container, I won't call it capitalism, of making us believe that human nature is in fact dualistic. Yes, but it's more like this. And we need these kinds of, I don't know. I don't have a cogent way to say it this early in the morning, except to say that it's such a big conversation. And I think if we really want to have it, we should do more homework and prepare and make it a feature.
I think.
Oh, you gave me the red color. I didn't even have a good rant, man. Come on.
But it was Evan flavored.
It wasn't even good. It didn't. If it was an Evan flavored rant, I really feel like it would have come to a point. I think it's Evan.
But your point here is
Evan.
Your point here, which is one that I respect, is frustration at a lack of nuance. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. The way that like a lot of isms often get used is to describe like one piece that may be an ingredient of that ism, which is a giant goulash of stuff. And then we get hyper fixated on like one aspect of it, right? Like when people hear the word socialism, you do not think about the full spectrum of things included in that gigantic umbrella term. You think about the idea of having to give away something that you worked for so that someone who didn't work for it can have it.
Yeah, no, it's not nuance, it's depth. And it's honestly, I personally think economics is a pseudoscience. I think economics is a pseudoscience that is mostly justified by people who need to keep jobs. And it's difficult for me to have like a casual conversation about it with Will, who you put a lot of faith in it. And it's not that I don't respect Will or your reasoning. It's that I would need time to like sit down and really deeply, it's not just nuance, it's depth. We come from
depth and nuance,
such a different place that the conversation deserves, a deep amount of care because I care about you,
Yeah, I think you're wrong about that.
I just would like to get drunk and talk about it.
Yeah, that would also be good. That would also be good.
I just want to have a bottle of whisky and smoke a cigar and sit around a table and like this conversation is
I would
fun.
love that.
It's
fun to me too.
It's so much fun. But I don't think it's a pseudoscience. I think it's an incentive system. But for what you want to see.
We can get philosophical and come to a point where we could say that everything is a pseudoscience.
Okay, all right.
I suppose so.
What do you say? What do you say if we get our cigars, get our drinks, get in a hot tub, and do it after dark one night? That sounded way wrong.
Evan's now proposing that we convert this whole thing to
do it after dark.
A hot tub stream.
To a hot tub stream. Hey, our Twitch numbers will go up.
All right, speaking of New Year's resolutions.
I do have a couple of really good questions that are more crypto adjacent that I think you guys will like to answer with me for people because they've been really patient. We have a question about USDT and privacy, and we had another question about, oh my God, where did I look at this? Look at this notebook. We had another from Sean. Sean had a good question about insurance and crypto bank exchanges. So let's talk about this one first because it came a long time ago from Chinaro and they've been very, very patient. This is a question, how do I use crypto privately is the bigger question, okay? But they specifically want to know if they bought USDT, that's Tether, or let's just say if you buy a token on a CEX, a centralized exchange, how can you make it private? Like your transaction with it, how do you make it private? And
you don't.
Yeah. I was gonna say, who wants to tell him?
You don't. So centralized exchanges, like when you sign up for it, they have a bunch of things called KYC, know your customer, and so you give them like your bank account, your date of birth, your name, your blah 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 blah, blah all your stuff, right? So they know who you are, and then they've made your account, and that just gets, they know you, right? So they have your centralized exchange account, even if you take that onto Web3, because most every blockchain is public. Not all of them, right? And there are some things you can do here, but to privatize it. But they can just follow that path from the centralized exchange through all your wallets, and all of a sudden they've mapped every single transaction they've done, which is why It's a really bad idea to think, instead of paying my taxes, I'll do stuff in crypto so I don't have to pay it because they can't follow me. They can follow you very, very easily.
Yeah.
Very easy.
Seriously.
It's like leaving breadcrumb trails with fireworks. It's very easy to follow you, except the fireworks are permanent. So like there's no hiding a centralized exchange transaction. And you're reported directly to the IRS.
And anyone who tries to hide it is doing something that is either legally gray or outright illegal. So, so like, what do you do instead? You might instead, you got to think about first, like, who owns your data when you're dealing with privacy. I had a really good conversation yesterday with Sean Artizone. I got to have him on the show. He runs a company called Arc Cyber, and he asked the next question. But I think most people we were talking aren't aware enough of all the places that they're actually giving somebody their data
everywhere
to make informed decisions about it. It's everywhere. Or like Will just said, how traceable the blockchain is. It's like a trail of fireworks. So
yeah, it's kind of the whole point.
So if you can't make your funds that you bought on a centralized exchange where you've completed KYC and they know who you are and they have to report it anonymous, you can reduce overexposure. Some legitimate things you can do is you can start to use more privacy-preserving tech. There's lots of this stuff. You can use zero-knowledge ecosystems. You can use privacy coins and tokens like Monero and Zcash. You can buy them from a wallet or many apps now. I saw Mert posted about one the other day, Alex, and I don't know what it is, where you can go from like cash and on-ramp to a privacy token. And essentially what someone will see is that they will see you bought the privacy token, but they won't see from there what you did with it.
Bitcoin ATMs are about
although
probably the easiest on-ramp to something private. I shouldn't say easy because, again, okay,
they're
depth,
expensive.
nuance, whatever. Yes, expensive. They're not everywhere. There's all sorts of other concerns about, like, who's watching the person at the ATM, kind of a thing. Like, there's always still like something. Privacy is so hard at this point. If it's not impossible, it's unbelievably difficult to be private.
Yeah. And there are mixers too, but depending on how you use them, and maybe just depending on the law, they may become totally illegal soon. A mixer is a service that completes a transaction,
launders money,
basically. But it's more than that. It's a privacy-preserving tool. If
one would argue that the whole point of laundering is to preserve privacy.
But you can be a legitimate actor and wish to preserve your privacy.
Still laundering.
I mean, but not illegally so.
No. The act of laundering, though, is usually done to cover nefarity. So when you are laundering, that's the way that the government and regulators will look at it always, which is exactly why Tornado Cash is what it is.
In the new year, one of my resolutions is to make more content about how you can use crypto privately in a practical way. And I have a couple of different guests that I think can really help us with that. So stay tuned. We'll have more great questions, Gennaro. And don't use that USDT you bought on a centralized exchange for crime. Don't do crime, but also don't use that token specifically for it.
Yeah.
Have you heard about the $100 bill?
Yeah, of course.
No, I was asking Gennaro.
That's the most private.
Oh.
Like if you want to do crime, your preferred tool is the US $100 bill.
The most counterfeited piece of currency on earth.
Okay, we have this other question from Sean, friend of the show. He wants to know about insurance. He was saying that he and his wife were speaking this morning about keeping a cash balance on exchanges like Coinbase and whether or not that's a good idea. Because those places, they offer debit cards, you can get rewards, but they're brokers, so they're not really FDIC insured like your bank is. You guys have any thoughts on this, pros and cons?
Yeah. Okay, the first one requires some reading and some consideration, but I think that, again, if we're sticking with the subject of depth and nuance, FDIC insurance is kind of a scam, in my opinion. It can afford you some protections and it can be good. And there's definitely instances where I would agree that, yes, in theory, great, good. Read the fine print, because a handful of things are not covered by FDIC insurance. And those are the things that befall people more often than anything else. It's mostly there to protect insolvency issues. And that's almost never really the thing that screws you over. It's fraud. It's getting scammed. It's being stolen from. It's stuff like that, and the FDIC does not protect you in any way, shape, or form. Like if your Coinbase account balance is FDIC protected in theory, and someone steals all your shit, the FDIC doesn't care at all. It's not there for you. It's there for the platform, and the platform will use its FDIC insurance payout to pay you back if they screw up. But even there is still wiggle room. And remember, at the end of the day, it's insurance, which means their primary objective is to not pay you because, again, capitalism. So,
well, and Alex, do you remember when FTX happened? Like Coinbase
yes.
and some other exchanges use this like pass-through FDIC insurance where they have a partner bank that will give them up to like $250,000 a customer. But how did that work out after FTX collapsed?
Exactly.
Man, so many of those people still don't have their money in a satisfying way.
Yeah, I think FDIC insurance is kind of one of those security blankets that we give people that isn't going to protect you from a house fire, but it's going to make you feel better. And so you kind of just have to like weigh the pros and cons of how much that really means to you and what you really expect it to do for you if the thing that you're worried about happening happens. So, you know, in that sense, I don't really ever think about the specifics of FDIC insurance when I think about like where to store money or where to keep money or where to set up a new savings account or something like that, you know, because like DeFi Carrot's not FDIC insured, but I'm electing based on my understanding to put more faith in that than I am in my checking account to maybe have more longevity, but also just rob me every year. So it's just more about, you know, the informed choice there. But I really wouldn't think about FDIC insurance too much.
Like it's a nice to have. Sure, but like if someone gives FDIC insurance, the odds of them going under and like messing up are pretty low. But I mean, like it's nice to have. Sure, it's just like Alex said, it just doesn't really protect you from the thing that's like actually going to cause you problems. And guess what? There's nothing that protects you from that really.
Yeah, and I will say Coinbase does provide other kinds of insurance. So do several crypto exchanges. Thanks to Bearded for typing this up. Coinbase provides crime insurance. So a portion of customer digital assets, they hold your assets for you. If they're stolen or something like that, if Coinbase gets hacked, if they're breached, and this is new to me, it's up to $255 million across the platform. This insurance covers company-side failures, like cybersecurity incidents. So not if you compromise your password and somebody steals your crypto, but if, you know, they screw up. Great question, Sean. Anything else on that, guys, to put a cherry on top of it? In that case, I'm gonna kick it over to William Watson.
I'm just really enjoying all the FDIC hate in the comments.
Dude, there's so much good commentary happening in the comments today.
I love to see it.
I love to see it. Will, do you got a little rapid fire news for us?
Yeah. So Bitwise has filed an ETF, and this is a cool one because it includes 11 different altcoins. And so this is like a true ETF. It's like a bucket, because an ETF is, you know, typically supposed to be like a bucket of things in a particular asset class. So this would be like seen as an altcoin ETF. And let's see, this is a little fuzzy here, but the 11 altcoins included are Aave, Athena, Hyperliquid, Near Protocol, Stark, Sui, BitTensor DAO, Tron, Uniswap, and Zcash, which is interesting. So just something I wanted to kind of put on everybody's radar screen. They feel pretty confident about getting it approved, it would seem, at least enough to file with the SEC. And this would be like your first altcoin bucket ETF, I believe.
I feel like there's another.
I feel like there was another one that was put forward, but
and it's got like 3 or 5 in it.
Yeah, but this is 11.
Yeah,
and of those,
throw them up.
I feel like Hyperliquid and Uniswap are the real winners there. But it's just like
that's such an interesting basket.
Such an interesting list.
Yeah, I put it in the comments. I'm trying to put it in the comments again for everybody over on TikTok. Hang on,
what the hell is CC?
Yeah, what the hell is CC actually? I didn't say it because I didn't know what it was.
It's the only one I have never seen before.
CC? Yeah, I don't. Somebody Bearded. What's the ticker CC? And also, I was curious about what stood out to me was Stark. Honestly, when you said near, you said
crypto.com.
It's crypto.com.
Yeah. Why the hell is it labeled?
No. Crow. Crypto.com is Crow.
I know that, but that's the first thing that's coming up here.
Really?
Wait, no, this is Canton Network, isn't it?
Oh, that makes more sense.
No wonder.
Yeah, this is Canton. No wonder we
Even
don't know
Bitwise
those.
falls for the altcoin hype. Okay, all right. When you said like Aave, Athena hype, I was like, yup. But near
see, like,
Stark, Sui, you know.
It's a weird blend of really corporate shit and also like
hypey stuff.
There are things in this list that would do really well because of Clarity, and other things that Clarity is specifically coming to kneecap.
Yeah. Interesting.
Wow.
It's Canton in the comments. Thanks.
Sorry.
You guys have 20 comments. It's Canton.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Oh my gosh. There's a Canton, Michigan. There's a Canton, Ohio, and now there's a Canton crypto.
There's an IKEA in Canton, Michigan.
Ooh.
Yes, there is. That's correct. Okay, let us know what you think about it. The ETFs coming soon. And it's about that time where we got to start thinking about what our final thoughts, the last question, suggestions, good jokes, words of wisdom for the year
Don't come for me.
are going to be. So if you've got one and you want it to make the cut, then let us know before we ride our dogs and ponies into the sunset. If you asked one and we missed it, let us know that too. If you're doing something crazy for New Year's Eve, let us know. We want to hear from you. You're the best part of what we do. And hey, I got to say it before the year ends. If you're not there yet, jump into the Rise Up community. I'm talking about community.rumshq.com. It is the place to connect with us, with our friends. And it's the best place to ask a crypto question. If you don't get it shown on the air, if we don't address it here, we would love to keep learning with you, help you grow. And we say, rise up. It's totally free to join. And I know we have been busy this year. We have been so busy. I feel overwhelmed, to be frank. My head is like my notebook. But one of our top priorities always has been to deliver the best content for you. So I am hopeful that in the new year, we will have even more administrative help. We will have even more ducks in a row, and then we can really dedicate more time to great content, especially the content of like hanging out with you there. I know that's why people come to that community, to spend time with us, and we want to lead that conversation. So if you've been like, oh, it's kind of quiet around the holidays, yeah, we get it, and so sorry, but we're working on it, and you guys just gotta keep on hanging on, and we're coming through. What a terrible political promise that sounded like. You guys just got to keep on hanging on. Let me try it again. Rums HQ, the only thing missing is you.
There it is.
What do you guys want to explore before we do the morning show outro for the year the last time? I mean, we're coming right back tomorrow. Is anybody going to make that terrible joke? Today. I haven't seen you guys since last year.
Oh, I can't wait for it. I love making that joke.
I love me.
I haven't eaten since last year.
Last year,
I'm
jokes are the best.
hilarious.
You are hilarious. What was the joke the other day? we had a really good one. Will, you weren't on the stream. I don't know if you heard it. Raging Cajun asked, "What ethnicity is Santa?" What ethnicity is Santa? And be careful with your answer. Don't say something that's going to get me canceled.
Didn't that?
Oh man, sorry for the line.
The lion
the
coming
chief
in.
lion officer.
Chief Lion Officer.
Thank you, Solom. What ethnicity is Santa?
Where did you get that from?
This is from Raging Cajun in the comments. You heard this joke on the show the other day and you laughed at it.
Well, yeah. Oh, sorry, it's a joke. Because I was the last episode that I saw of Z-Way's show. She asked the guest what ethnicity is Santa, and so I guess
Did
I
she
gathered
really?
it. Yeah, and he said that in his head Santa is Samoan.
Ooh, that would be fun.
I hope she answered with Raging Cajun's answer. Santa is North Polish.
It
Is
just
that
threw
what
me
Z-Way
off.
said?
No. She wasn't. She was just asking a question.
She's trolling. Yeah.
Have you seen Z-Way show?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've seen Z-Way show.
I mean,
But
she was. She's doing her bit to make someone feel uncomfortable. Because then they have to apologize to the camera after they say the wrong thing. Because there's no way to answer these questions without saying the wrong thing on accident. That's kind of the whole joke.
I thought it was really good. That would be a good way to respond to Z-Way, though. To say, like, girl, he's North Polish.
North Polish.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Okay. Really? North Polish? Yes.
Scrim
really?
says whatever Coca-Cola wants. Yep, there you go.
Also, got to make the shareholders
Facts.
happy. And Sean says Happy New Year. All the Happy New Year wishes coming in are very kind. We appreciate it.
You know my
again,
resolution for the show for next year is,
Tell
Evan?
me.
More POAPs.
More POAPs.
Guys,
I
do you
love it.
mind if I provide a screen share of the year-to-date net inflows of money into blockchain ecosystems? Because it's an interesting list.
I mind not.
Nope. Send it. That sounds nerdy as hell.
Yeah, so we're looking at Artemis right now, looking at year-to-date, and where I want to direct your attention to is the right side of the screen. I'll zoom in a little bit here to top net flows year-to-date. Ethereum, the clear winner here at net flow of $4.2 billion over the year. Hyperliquid in second at $2.9 billion net flow. So we're tracking the amount of money on chain moving into these ecosystems. So Ethereum is the clear winner, Ethereum number 2, and then third place is pretty far behind. Sonic, followed by World Chain, followed by Solana, then Starknet, EdgeX, and Inc. at $223 million net, and Injective was also net positive. Things that were net negative: ZK Sync, Sui, Avalanche, Blast, Barachain, Linnea, layer 2, Polygon, Base, which is interesting, at almost negative $1 billion, BNB Chain, Unichain, and Arbitrum with $5.1 billion of net outflows.
Now, really quickly, this is top net flows, so meaning like these negative ones are actually. I'm not understanding. Is this like Ethereum is number 1 and Arbitrum is number 20, but like we just don't have 20 that are positive. Most of them are negative.
Yeah, well, this is just like bridged asset net flows by absolute value. So this is bridge. So this is bridging.
Bridge. Okay,
Yeah,
bridge.
my apologies.
No,
Not exactly.
That's good to know.
My earlier statement, not exactly accurate. But bridged assets to Ethereum and to Hyperliquid were big winners. And the biggest loser for bridging out of Arbitrum, or out, was Arbitrum. But that would potentially make sense because you are going to be bridging using Arbitrum to get to Hyperliquid, right?
Yeah, you
Right?
could.
That
Yeah,
counts
I
as
mean
a
that
bridge.
would be what I would. Yeah, that makes sense. That absolutely
Yeah, that makes sense. So I wouldn't
You
view
gotta
that
go
as
through
like a
Arbitrum.
bearish thing. It's just that you have to use Arbitrum to get to Hyperliquid. At Hyperliquid number 1, it makes sense that Arbitrum is in last place.
It could actually be a positive metric if you think that they can support just that flow of cash. I mean,
Well,
like
the thing is if you look at the TVL of Arbitrum,
generating fees.
it's great.
Yeah.
The DeFi ecosystem has really benefited a lot with Arbitrum being the road to Hyperliquid. So I wouldn't necessarily view this as like a bearish thing for Arbitrum, but that's a very different relationship that Arbitrum has with Hyperliquid that all these other chains don't have. But it's just interesting to see. The biggest thing that's of interest here is Inc. being positive and Base being negative to the tune of about $1 billion. You know, Inc. being positive by about $250 million, because you just never hear anything about Inc.
Also, World Chain and Sonic. Like, I get the Sonic thing. You know, I think that happened. Oh, damn it! I think that happened this year. What is this life? I think that happened this year. That was a new
How
chain this year.
embarrassing.
It was a scam call too. Can you believe that?
It's even worse.
I can. That's
Freaking scammers, man. Oh my gosh. You know what I'd really like to see is I'd really like to see this information year to date for every year. I don't know if they
that
have
would
a
be
dashboard that would let me see like 2024, 2023, 2022. I have a suspicion that where the attention and
Go back
money
to 3 years.
flows, that would look like the top 10 cryptos. And maybe you could predict like who's going to be the new top 10. Like maybe Ink's coming for somebody's
It's not
spot.
even. It's not even the top 10. I can throw, if you throw the D-Bridge flow chart up.
Oh, that smooth
Well,
one?
here are the top net flows of the past 3 years.
Oh, hang on. Let me peep that real quick.
Yeah, Hyperliquid at 5 billion, Base at 4 billion, Optimism mainnet 4 billion, Solana 3.6 billion, followed by, and then there's a drop off.
Dude,
Starknet
what is happening over at
2.3,
Starknet? Am I just like not
I
cool
know, right?
enough?
At least for bridging,
apparently.
And Inc is still positive for the past 3 years. And, you know, just
Well,
not even
I mean,
more.
and these
That makes
mean
sense.
these are even more interesting because some of the things on the outflows list have actually been around for 3 years, and some of the things on the inflows list have not been around for 3 years.
Yeah, some of those haven't experienced a bear market.
Yeah, this
or
is
at
a
least
slanted.
competition to
It's
take.
a slanted list.
And
Yeah,
look at
it's slanted
Ethereum gone way down. That doesn't surprise me though. In the last 3 years, of course, people were leaving.
Naturally, yeah. I mean, as other things grow, inevitably, but it's nuance. You can't just look at this and get all the data, because Ethereum is
cool
still
too.
bigger than everything else put together.
The story this tells me when I look over at the top inflows, top outflows, with Ethereum number 1 and Arbitrum and Hyperliquid number 2. Like, look at the top line. This is what this tells me. This tells me Ethereum is king. It's where people move money in, where people move money out, and Arbitrum is up there because of probably Hyperliquid. Base, they made a splash, and Polygon just happens to transfer a lot of value for stablecoins.
You have to also admit where it's due that Base got a lot of that from Coinbase as a present. It's daddy's money.
Inflows and outflows. This is not
Everything.
TVL.
I don't mean TVL, but that's still all included. If you look at a 3-year snapshot, including Base, you're going to also see the TVL injection, which was billions of dollars.
I see.
So, Base is doing well, but it got a big head start with daddy's money.
I really like this comment from Michi Rose. We just need a map of who's homies and who's not.
All right, I'll stop sharing.
This is an interesting one, especially. So this is for the entire calendar year of 2025. And it's interesting to me that Tron wasn't up on that list at all, was it, Will?
No, I didn't see it
I
pop
didn't see
up.
it either. What that tells me, if they're measuring
top
inflows and outflows, is that Tron either isn't measured by that particular survey, or that people just use stuff there natively, like they on-ramp to Tron.
And hold on. This is I lost my to December 31st.
Damn, painful.
Where did it go? How did it do that? Well, I don't know.
So it's only showing you one day.
It gave me a range at first. That was just one day from January this year, but for some reason,
Well, here you go. This is about 3 years. That's not so bad. And this paints a very different story, though.
It's thinking.
Oh, it's thinking.
There we go. It's a lot of math.
I see. It is a lot of math.
It's okay, D-Bridge. Take your time.
Leif says, Base is the trust fund chain.
It's the trust fund, baby.
That's the American way. Daddy's money.
Yeah, I don't know why this is. Okay, here we go. So, I mean, when you stack it up like this too, you realize like how much just traded, like, the stack of Ethereum flow to Solana, to Arbitrum, to etc. And then in the inverse, like, look at how these are almost identical, flipped over, like almost equal in and out on everything. Like the Solana in or out, excuse me, total is what?
4.7 billion and
4.67 billion in the other direction.
4. What? Sorry, Alex. If I couldn't get you to do it, at least D-Bridge did.
I'll never forgive you for this, D-Bridge. But 4.8 to 4. They're almost identical in either direction on either side.
Yeah, so this is really measuring like a volume.
Yeah.
And the other one is a better visualization of total net. That's really interesting. Data tells such a beautiful story.
Mm-hmm.
When the internet works.
When the internet works.
Okay, here's one to end the year on. Oh, hang on, I missed it. So the question from Eddie is, what's one crypto token, crypto concept, crypto show that you think is going to have a great year next year in 2026? You can't say Rise Up, because we all think Rise Up is going to have a great year.
Well, I don't watch other shows, so...
Give me a crypto sector or a crypto concept. Alex and I kind of did like some predictions the other day, what we think is going to be big. But is there a horse you're betting on, Will?
The only thing that I feel very confident in is like the AI trend to crypto. Web3 gaming, I think, is still a great concept, but like it's just so beat up from the venture capital game. It's going to take a long time to recover. I really think it's just going to be like we're going to have the same problem in the market, which is that the only things that go up are things that have ETFs tied to them or have a revenue buyback and burn model, right? Something that like helps to inflate the price of the token go up by burning of supply, because it's actually getting used and has adoption amongst its targeted audience and it's generating revenue, and it takes a bit of that revenue to buy back some of the token and burn it. So I think it's those two things. Something with a lot of ETF demand, something that makes a bunch of money, buys back the token and burns it. I think those are two trends. And apparently if XRP as an ETF keeps doing what it's been doing, you know, XRP probably do well. Again, great coin to trade. I don't believe it in any way, shape, or form, but great coin to trade.
Not going anywhere.
Not going anywhere.
No, definitely not going anywhere.
I don't know how to sell this thing.
So that's
Well,
it. And like,
you do.
you know, it could be any use case, but it's going to be, you know, DeFi use cases that make a bunch of money and then have a buyback and burn model. I would include Hyperliquid in there, even though it's not technically not DeFi, it's a layer 1, but it's DeFi, in my personal opinion. You have Hyperliquid, you have, what's the one from Binance? Starts with an A?
Aster.
You have Aster, you have Uniswap now in that category.
But Coinbase also has a perp dex, or not a dex, but they do perps.
Yeah, they do perps. They do, but you know, there's an advantage. You know, the white whale has so much material and an advantage of going to a decentralized perp desk instead of a centralized one. So you'll always have a lot of whales and liquidity going there and all that kind of stuff. And I think that's it. I think it's pretty much going to be boiled down to those two simple things.
Okay.
And then also you're going to have some memes do well. You're going to have memes pop off because people like gambling, and all that stuff.
Yeah, and we also have to do this. We need updated predictions for Bitcoin for the end of the year. When we did this earlier, guys,
Slightly down from whatever it is right now by a tiny little bit.
somebody give me a fact check. What's the price of Bitcoin currently? And let me try and find in my wild and wonderful notebook here. The last time we talked about this, I do believe, was when William Quigley was on the show. We made predictions for where we thought Bitcoin was going to end the year, and we had actually done it like a couple of days before, and I wrote them down. And I'm really curious.
88.8 right now.
$88,729.
I think it's ending the year at 87. What do you think?
We're talking about next year, right?
No, I'm talking about tonight at midnight. I think it's going down.
$250,000.
Tonight
Okay,
at
Dr. Evil.
midnight. Tonight.
249. I'll be conservative.
Tonight at 249.
Within $500 of where it is right now, honestly.
I mean, yeah, I don't really expect it to pop off like tonight or something, but like it's in a position to go upwards. Like I think Bitcoin goes up to like 93, 94, maybe even as high as $97,000 over the next few days.
But given that you have, you know, the tax year ending in various time zones all over the place, you know, throughout the day, lower than it is now.
I'm not sure, because the thing is today will be a lower volume day because everyone's getting ready for New Year's, right? And on a lower volume day, you can more easily push the price up and down. So like, honestly, there's a chance like Bitcoin could pop off.
There's always a chance. This is my speculation though.
Yeah,
Somebody is definitely going to have to fact check me on this by going back and watching episodes with William Quigley and watching the After Dark playlist. But I'm pretty sure that these are our guesses, just based on the way I tend to write things.
Evan knows that we don't remember, so he's free to make anything up right now.
Well, I mean, this is. I'm pretty sure this is true. I think that, and I even have Bearded's guess in here.
But
so
show
Bearded,
the
if you
people
wrote
your
this
notebook
down,
and why this is sketchy at best.
I'll show you. Here's what we're dealing with right here.
Yeah, it's
And
awful.
I'm going to show the YouTube people because my camera will get it. I want you to zoom in on this spot right here. This has got 3 predictions written right down that I know. The thing about that notebook that actually, even though it's sketchy to other people, helps you remember. It's like when you have a mess in your house and nobody else knows what the keys are, but you do because you put them in the same place every time. This is 3 numbers all over 100,000 written together in a group on a page with After Dark stuff. Even though I didn't write our Bitcoin predictions, I'm pretty confident this is them. And I'm pretty sure I remember Will being the most bullish. Will, you predicted $162,414. End of year price of Bitcoin. Painful. Not as painful as Bearded, who said
There's still time.
Who said 169,420. I see what you did there. I'm pretty sure, Alex, you were the most conservative. I think you said 125,000 flat. Damn. And then I'm pretty sure I said 138,000. And then I think a couple days later, when we asked William Quigley, he said $125,725. So you, Alex, and William Quigley by Price is Right rules, you beat everyone.
Yeah, but still almost $50,000 off.
By Price is Right rules, we all lost.
Big off.
By a little bit.
By a little bit.
And this is why you don't listen to predictions, because they're all bullshit.
I'll make a prediction. By tonight, Bitcoin will be at $89,221. I have no idea if that's ever.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's basically the same.
86.9.
Okay, my predictions for stuff that's coming this year, prediction markets. I think the gamblification of everything.
Yes.
The gamblification of everything. I think
Gamblify.
If the economy comes back, Bitcoin could hit a new all-time high. You know, I'm not too focused on it. I'm just trying to accumulate as much as I can while the prices are relatively down. That's what I think. That's about as far as my predictions go, in addition to everything Will said, because I agree with it. And maybe, expect some more fallout from regulatory clarity as people start to realize with Walmart coin and Amazon coin and, you know, whatever else we get as a product of this, that maybe it's not so great. But that's what I got. And hopefully less pig butchering scams. Hopefully more activism towards pig butchering scams. That's my clear winner, is better.
Well, the number of scams is going to go up, but hopefully we do something about it this year.
Yeah, I hope so too. More better partners in education. And shout out to all of our partners in education. I am talking about Arculus, Jito, Polygon, Unlock Protocol, and the White Whale. Hopefully more partners coming soon to help us tell a better story about crypto. We couldn't do it without you. Alex, have you got a prediction? You didn't give your prediction.
I mean, it's pretty much the same stuff that I was speculating on last time. You know, I think that the DeFi fight continues. I think privacy continues to be a narrative as people become more aware of how little you have. And then, I don't know, I mean, you know, if you see clarity in whatever form, then, you know, your corporates, and by that I don't mean your you know, quants and your HBARs. I mean your Walmarts and your Amazons, driven by stablecoin adoption and use. But, you know, I mean, I think if I was to pick an actual ecosystem, I mean, it's a boring answer, and this isn't a surprise to anybody, but based on where the people go to do stuff, you have Solana. Although I think Solana will run into a little bit of headwind, because as you need to take the attention that was captured by, you know, heightened meme coin craze, which was a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Like, more people exist in the ecosystem means more memes get created, means more people do more meme stuff. So it kind of, you know, they feeds itself. But at some point that has to like shift to like other stuff. And Solana as an ecosystem has to focus more on what all those other users are doing in other places. So there's that, but then also Ethereum, because as privacy continues to be a thing, you have the whole ZK world, plus then all the other privacy protocols that I didn't even really know existed. There's a resolution for me. Learn more about all that stuff, because there's competitors to ZK. And all that feeds Ethereum. So, you know, price-wise, couldn't tell you, but good things for Ethereum next year as well. I would know that, or that's almost a guarantee. Just like more stuff happens there.
Bearded says, next prediction. When will Alex's first office hours be, and will it be so attended it breaks the stream? Possibly. We're going to have more calendars, more office hours, more predictions, more good stuff for you. That'll be in the Circle community. The first thing we got to figure out is that Alex office hours for Jito, and then the schedule for the show next month. Guests, topics. We want to give you more notice so that you can prepare better and plan to be here when we're going to learn something specific, and so that you can share it with a friend, because we think we can do more to be helpful in that way. And we'll do it all in the next year, because we're out of time, fellas. I'm ready to go. You ready to roll? Last time, it's hard to say goodbye.
Well, I'll be back in
next year.
No,
he'll be back in like 5 minutes, pretty much.
That's true. He will be back.
You know.
Trust issues is in a few hours.
Yes. No after dark tonight. Go out, stay in, eat Chinese food, or just watch a movie on the couch. Let us know what you're doing in the community, and at least on the morning show. We will see you next year. Thank you, everybody, for being the very best part of what we do. Until next time, everybody, stay safe, be well, my friends. Rise up.